Hey everybody, welcome back to Jay or Budget and to a very late cash stuffing video. I'm literally recording this at 7:05 on Tuesday evening because I just finished work and work was chaotic today. So it's been super busy. So I didn't even get a chance to do this at the weekend as well. So I am going to run through this super quick and yeah, let's see where my money is going this week. So I have, as usual, 5 in coin, and then I have 5, so 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40. So 290 this week. I thought I had 300, but 290 is what we have. I have €8 left over from last week, so we'll see what the crack is there. So, starting on this, and I have the dates put in as Sunday because that's when I thought I was going to do this. So, technology is going to get a fiver this week, so I'm going to swap it for a tenner. So, it should have 180 and it has 150 in the bank and a 30, so 180 is correct. Even though we are not on the 12th, we are the 14th. Eating out is not getting anything, but I did take 15 quid out of this on Saturday because I went and had some food and a drink. Health, I took €10 out of. I took €10 out during the week, but then I am adding back in a tenner. So I bought some bits for my holiday, sun cream and after sun on Boots, in their like €12 Wednesday sale thing. So I used some spending money and then I took a tenner out of here. So I'm adding back in a tenner out, which has 160. So 150 in the bank and then a tenner makes it 160. Cats, I spent €15 out of cats. So I bought some new cat bowls. Yeah, I'll pop in a photo of it now. And I'm adding in a fiver this week. So cats has 105. So how has everyone's week been? It is super dark outside, and it's raining as well. I also spent money out of gifts, which I'll get to. I'll explain what I did, but I made cupcakes for my friend's gender reveal. So I was like the first person who knew what she was having, and she's having a baby girl, and I was so excited for her. Clothing has 200, and it is going to stay with 200. So the way they did it was every cupcake was like frosted with like I'll put in a picture of that as well, but one cupcake in, so it had like blue and pink icing on top, and then one cupcake had pink icing in the middle, and the rest had white icing in the middle. So you had to bite into them, and then whoever got the one with the color inside, that's what it was, and it was pink. Okay, home is not getting anything, but it has 120 gifts. This has 50. Sorry, that's books. And it has a fiver, and it's going to stick with a fiver for now. Okay, gifts had €100, but I took €50 out of this. So I bought all the ingredients to make the cupcakes for my friend. So I made those, and I also we had like a work thing where one of my colleagues is engaged, and we were having like a little party for her. So I contributed to that as well. So haircut then is going to get a fiver this week, and I was looking at the app because I was going to book one for this week coming, this like Friday probably, but the price has gone up by like €5. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I do know. I'm just going to have to leave less of a tip every time I go, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, should have 70 now. So 5, 10, 20, 30, and 40 makes 70. So yeah, 170. I feel like I am talking 100 miles an hour, even though I had a really busy day. I did loads of like back-to-back performance reviews today, so I just don't want to talk anymore to anybody. But yeah, Netflix has 60 quid, which is actually a subscriptions folder. And then my house is going to get 25, so I am going to swap out that and fire in the 50. So then this should have 2,575 even. That should be a 5. So let's 2,500, so 2,500 and then 75, which is correct, Amundo. Fantastic. So 2,575 in the My House fund, and that is it for that binder. So let's moving swiftly along. I also need to get something to eat as well, and I don't know what I want. So yeah, the joys. So Hoot Loot, which is from a budget with Ira. This is what I do my spending money out of. So it gets 50 quid, and I roll a Hoot Loot dice, and depending on what it is what I do. So if it's odd, it's a fiver going into the challenge, and if it's even, it's a tenner. So I have one odd at 3. So let's color that in, and let's roll again and see what happens. 6, so that's 15 so far. I can't believe I've nearly half of this done. So let's do one more 5. So that's what, 20 quid. I'm gonna chance one more 3, so 25, which is actually not too bad. So 25 for spending. I will take this out, and let's put 25 into spending for the week, and then 25 into this one, Hoot Loot. So yeah, there we go. That is Hoot Loot. So Hoot Loot has 20, 40, 60, 65, 115, 315 euros in Hoot Loot, which is amazing. And this is from Budget with Ira. Fiver Friday gets a fiver, and you can cross off one of those. Tenner Tuesday is going to get a tenner, and that can go in there. And then 20 Thursday, I might come back and start that, but I am for now going to do the Pixel Perfect. So each is 2, and I have 2 at the moment, so I'll probably end up doing another roll. I'm trying to think, what am I at this week? So I was in the office yesterday, and I actually got a lift home, and I am in the office on Saturday, and I'll actually get a lift home on Saturday, so I don't need that much, so I can technically do another roll. It's 5, so that's a tenner going in. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to chance one more roll, so that's 7 at the moment. 9, so that gives me 18 to go into Pixel Perfect. So I'm going to take that money I had left over, and I'll pop that in, which actually gives me a tenner for travel. That makes sense? It does to me. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Actually, what I'm going to do is swap that out for that. 18 euros going in to Pixel Perfect, and I will let you know how much is in here now. So we've got 235, 40, 243 euro in that. So I need to do 9 of these little pixels. So let's go and, oh my god, do that now. So I'll speed this up. So yeah, you'll see this in a second. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there we go. Oh my god, that one is just seems to be stuck to me, so I'll leave it there. So yeah, there we go. That is Pixel Perfect done for this week, which gives me a fiver for travel, which is actually going to be more than enough. So I can just throw that in there. So Pixel Perfect scratch off challenge. So I'm actually working on this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out. So I'm working on Apple. I can just close that up. So I'm working on Apple bills, and let's see if this scratches. A fiver this week going into scratch off. So I can throw a fiver in. So let's take out that and throw in that, and I can throw that in here. Makes life easier. And then save Opoly I'm working on as well. So I was here last week. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go to jail. So what is jail? Doesn't say what jail is. Okay, let's cross it off anyway. And let's add in 20 for go to jail, because I don't know how much it is. So Save-Opoly then has 20, 40, 50 is 90, and 5 is 95 in Save-Opoly. Mushroom Hunt Fund I finished last week, so Wildcard I am doing this week. So let's see what I have in Wildcard. I had a fiver in Wildcard, so let's see what I am doing with this. I forgot what way I said I was going to do this, so let's just... Okay, sorry. I think I said I was going to do higher or lower. That's what I'm going to do anyway. So higher or lower. So I think it was a queen last week. So what I'm going to do is, if I get higher, I mean it has to be lower. So lower is a fiver and higher is a tenner. So if I'm right, it's a tenner. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, it's a fiver. If I'm wrong, it's a tenner. So I'm going to say lower than queen. Ha! That's mad. It's a king. So I have to put a tenner in. That's actually so funny. So that means I can, let's put it this way. So I know, so it was a king this week. I mean, I can't get higher than a king. Well, an ace. Is an ace higher? Would you call that higher, or would you say technically an ace could also be 1? I mean, I could cheat. But anyway, I'm going to get a tenner this week, so that now has 15 quid in the wild card from budget with IRA. And that is it for that binder. Moving swiftly along, because I am getting hungry, into travel then. So Passport to Success is going to get a tenner, I think. Which is 1 pair of sunglasses. So let's throw that in here. So that one has 100 in the bank, so that's 50, 55, so 155 in Passport to Success. Throw that there. I'm just going to push that out of the way. So Passport to Success. So last week I finished the travel fund. I think I cheated when I took... So I also swapped out of 50. So I took the tenner out of here. So I'm going to add in 20 to this one into accommodation. And let's see what the crack is. So let's add that in. And let's call it in a hotel. Okay, I'm just going to do it that way. So one hotel is going to be... Sorry, I need to do 2. So 2 hotels in that one. And that can go there. So 20 quid in there. London is not going to get anything, and it has nothing. Japan is not getting anything. So I also finished the... what I had, which was in here, which was the passport. I only need like €35 for this one to replace a passport card, so I swapped it out for 50. So I'll leave that there, and then I'm going to start the trip challenge, and I'm going to put in a fiver. So what I'm going to do is, and it's similar to Iris budgets, every time this gets filled, I'll move it across to the other challenge. So I'm just going to start with a fiver in here. And that is the trip challenge, again from budget with IRA. So let's throw that in there. Okay, so what have I left? 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85 euro. So if I go into my birthday binder / occasions, so the next one is my aunt, that is in May, and that is fully funded. My dad is in May also, and I want to save 150 for him, so I'm going to add in 10 this week. So let's do it that way. So he now has 130. And then Father's Day, I am going to add in 10 as well. So let's do it that way. And my mom's birthday then is September. And then my granny's Nana's birthday is in November. And then Secret Santa. So that is it for now. Ooh, I think I could do something. I'll do it later. I was going to put the gifts one in here because it's kind of like occasions. Let's do that now. This is doing things on the fly. Where are my gifts? Please bear with me. And then I can throw this in here because it's technically like it is a gift / occasion. Anyway, moving on to the monthly challenge. So I'm literally on my last month of the monthly challenges, and I'm gonna put in 20 quid to this week. So we have 10, 20, 30, 35, and it means I can cross off 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of the monthly challenges, and that's literally, like I said, going to be done very, very soon, which is, I'm so excited because I haven't touched any of the money out of that yet. So and then I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. So let's see what I can do with that money. So if I could do 3 on this, or I could do 2 on this. Let's do 2 on this one. 15 and 15. And then let's put the rest into the challenge box. So that's what I need to do. 15s. I feel like I'm gonna get this done so quickly. Great. So what have we left on Christmas before I have my first 500 quid? 25 quid. No, sorry, 45 quid. 10, 20, 35 quid. That's unreal. I'm literally going to get this finished like before the end of the month, which is so cool. Fantastic. That is that one done. So last but not least, 15 quid, which is left over. And that can go into the challenge box. So let's throw that in there. Look, I have to give a good belt to like fix in the moolah. So 10 and 5. So I'm officially like what? 1, 2, 3, 4 on the last 5 rows, which is amazing. So yeah, pause it there. Tell me how much is left. How much do I have left to do? I don't think there's any massive ones. There's 150, 250s, 350s, and then a couple of 40s. Yeah, so there's still a good bit left. Maybe like 500, 600 quid. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching another cash stuffing video. I'm so sorry. See, look, it's trying to sneak out. See, if I was like cheeky, I could like pull it back out. But I need to like use that to shove it in. Just can't steal it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching another cash stuffing video. Sorry I'm so late again this month, or this week I should say. I should be back to regular programming by next weekend. If not, I will chat to you in my next video. Take care and have a good one. Bye.